you seen Star Wars?
Well, it's finally here. Episode 1 of Season 2 for Star Wars The Mandalorian, Chapter 9 debuted, and it is the longest episode to date. This is my official review for the episode, and don't worry, no major spoilers here, just some story notes. And first thing I have to say is if you enjoyed Season 1, I think you're really going to enjoy where the story is heading in this first episode. It starts off by explaining two things to the audience, and that is that Mando has a goal to bring back Baby Yoda to his species, and then in order to do that, our main character, Din Djarin, has to find other Mandalorians that are in hiding. A lot of what was shown in the trailers was actually shown in this first episode, which means there's a lot of unexpected surprises coming later this season. Mando and the child head to Tatooine in order to find a Mandalorian that is said to be there. On the way, the title of the episode is called The Marshal, and he comes into play when they arrive on Tatooine. Mando meets the Marshal and agrees to help him destroy the creature that is destroying the local town. This is another simple story in the Star Wars universe, and in the series so far, this is a common thing to have these small stories but that build on a few things for the overarching story of The Mandalorian. First thing is that it shows Din Djarin's true devotion to the Mandalorian creed, and while he went to Tatooine in search of a Mandalorian, he ended up staying for a different reason entirely. He brings two communities together to fight a common enemy, which is an old tale that's been told time and time again, yet it does work for this episode. The scope of the story feels a little larger than the first season, in terms of plot and where we're going in the future episodes for Season 2 and the overarching story for The Mandalorian. The guy who plays the Marshal did an amazing job with this performance. I will be honest, he's probably one of the best actors that we've seen in The Mandalorian. I mean, he truly brought this kind of southern cowboy from Texas vibe, and as a man from Texas, I can really appreciate that, but I think he pretty much stole the spotlight for this episode. One thing I think this episode gave us a glimpse at is what to possibly expect for the next 7 episodes in this season. I feel like each episode is going to focus on Mando working with individual characters for most of the season. In each episode, he may run into a new character or a character that we met last season and work with them. And the ending to this episode kind of gave us a great cliffhanger on what to expect and who to expect in episode 2 next week. That also kind of builds on what I just said of you having to see Mando work with different people every episode and have stories with them. I also have to add that if you're a fan of the prequels, I think you're really, and I mean really, going to enjoy this episode. One thing I think that was done really well was a lot of callbacks to the prequels and originals that thankfully were not forced down your throat. It was simple things that did not divert from the plot of the episode, but simply used these callbacks as a way of showing off the Star Wars universe. It was simple stuff that fans can all appreciate. This episode was fun, the action was exciting. For being the longest episode to date, it never lost my attention, which means the pacing is good. It looked beautiful too. There were a lot of scenes that truly felt like I was watching a Star Wars movie in the theater. This show seems to be more cinematic than ever before. This is the first time I felt like Mandalorian needs to be seen in IMAX. A lot of the wide shots were truly breathtakingly beautiful and really did feel like the original Star Wars films. This is what Star Wars should and always look and feel like. There was also that one line that kind of basically had me in tears for laughter. The Marshal and Mando were planning out a battle with the main villain of this episode, that creature, and during a confrontation between the two opposing communities that they're trying to bring together, the Marshal looked at Mando and said, "It's gonna be great." Now, I don't know if that's just a coincidence or not, but that felt like a direct callback to Lucas bringing Steven Spielberg on set for The Phantom Menace, and they say it's gonna be great.
That's great.
It's going to be great.
That's going to be great.
It's going to be great.
That's going to be great.
And if that is the case, then Jon Favreau is a genius, and I cannot applaud the man enough. This episode is built on the promise of what is to come in the later episodes for this season. I really like this episode, but I can't say I love it yet. I have to see it a second time to really solidify my opinions on it, but I'm leaning towards loving this more than I'm just going to say I like this. This was another fan favorite episode in my opinion. It's very exciting if you're a Star Wars fan to see these kind of episodes for The Mandalorian, because it makes me feel like Star Wars is actually back. It built tension for the final climax of the episode, and it really left me on the edge of my seat and waiting for episode 2 next week. There was a character at the end of the episode that casual audiences may not know who they are, but we diehard Star Wars fans knew exactly who it was, and know that the title for episode 2 being called Confrontation means it's going to be a great episode for the story. If I had to give episode 2 a score out of 10, I would say this is a solid 8.7. It had great pacing and a setting on Tatooine that really felt beautiful. It also shows me that the show doesn't need these big grand reveals that we're all expecting in order to be exciting. It doesn't just hand over every bit of information to you. It slowly builds on the mystery and leaves you wanting to see more when it's all over. Episode 2 cannot get here fast enough, but tell me your thoughts below. What did you think of the first episode for Season 2 of The Mandalorian, Chapter 9, The Marshal, and what do you expect from Episode 2 next Friday? Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, or subscribe because it does help out the channel. Star Wars only. I will see you all next time, and may the Force be with you always.